Today marks a historic moment in the history of XRP as the company behind the XRP token launched their RLUSD stablecoin. And upon that news, XRP popped up to $2.72 and was up about 15% before making a slight pullback. Now, based on the current price action, I have a critical update that will help you make an educated decision on whether right now is a great time to enter the market and buy XRP or whether you should wait a little bit longer. Because as the old phrase goes, buy the rumor and sell the news. We recently experienced the news with the launch of the RLUSD stablecoin. Either way, this is major news for the XRP token because all payments, global money transfers, and institutional order flows using their stablecoin will naturally run on the XRP ledger and by default bring more liquidity and onboard more money into XRP, which would pump all of our bags. Right now, the RLUSD token is available on Uphold, Bitso, MoonPay, Arcax, and CoinMena with additional listings on platforms like Bullish, Bitstamp, Mercado Bitcoin, Independent Reserve, and Zero Hash. And it will continue to grow as it will be available on global exchanges this upcoming Tuesday. And according to Bitcoin News, they're poised to revolutionize $70 billion in payments, which is a large market cap by any standards, but is so large that I expect at some point in the future it will potentially flip USDT. Now, one of the major reasons I believe this is going to happen is because Coinbase is one of the largest exchanges in the world, touting over 100 million verified users, and not too long ago they decided they would delist USDT from their exchange because it wasn't MICA compliant, which we will discuss more in this video. And as Coinbase makes a move like this, I expect more exchanges to follow as we get stablecoin regulation in the United States, which is the largest money market in the world, and money flows out of USDT and into RLUSD. This will truly solidify XRP's or Ripple's business model, but I'll let Jack McDonald, the Senior Vice President of Stablecoins, explain their business model more thoroughly in a very short video. And of course, as always, I'll be diving into the charts to give you my take on where I'm buying and whether or not I'll be waiting a little bit longer to add to my current positions. We're going to keep things simple, folks. So let's get into the video. And as always, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the Bull Runners channel. If you're new here, my name is Paul and you can find me on Twitter at Paulie, DeFi, Paulie. DEFI. And I think the biggest news that we could cover right now is the fact that the RLUSD stablecoin is now live. Currently, there is no real aggregate volume across the board, whether it's on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. Right here, you can see that there's about 340,000 of 24-hour trading volume. The price is obviously $1. And already, I want to dispel a quick rumor. There have been some people online spreading misinformation or just don't understand that the stablecoin is literally pegged to the dollar. So it should always be worth $1. This isn't something that you buy and then ask how high could it go. That said, people did see some posts over on Twitter that made them think that it is actually going to go up in price. But even Joel Katz or David Schwartz, the CTO over at Ripple, said there's actually someone willing to pay $1,200 of RLUSD for a tiny fraction of literally just one. In other words, they are going to take a financial loss. But the only reason they're doing that is because they want the honor of buying the first one on a DEX, which would totally make sense. It's kind of like an honorary buy. You're buying a piece of history. And there are a lot of XRP millionaires, so why wouldn't they do that? However, he says, rest assured, the price will come back very close to $1 as the supply stabilizes. And as you can see here, it has already stabilized. And I expect this 24-hour volume to continue to grow. And the reality is, I don't even think it's aggregating all of the real data yet. I'm sure it's into the many millions now, as it's available on all of the exchanges we mentioned earlier. Another major piece of news is the fact that Kenneth Montgomery is a former first vice president and chief operating officer of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and now he's going to join the Stablecoin Advisory Board to give regulatory, financial, and operational guidance. And Kenneth Montgomery is not just any person. This guy has spent 4 decades at the Federal Reserve. So imagine the types of connections this guy has as he comes out of this position and then moves on to the advisory board for something like RLUSD. I expect them to really start gaining momentum and traction, as on Tuesday they're going to be listed across the board on many of the largest exchanges worldwide, so much so that even Coinbase is extremely likely to have RLUSD potentially to overtake USDC, considering USDT is no longer MICA compliant. Now, what this means for RLUSD is that it will start to grow and grow and grow as more money flows out of things like USDT and into more liquid markets eventually, like the RLUSD stablecoin. Now, MICA stands for Markets in Crypto Assets, and it's a European Union regulation. According to what was stated by the company, stablecoins that do not meet the requirements set by MICA will no longer be supported for certain services within the platform. Now, these requirements are typically designed to protect investors. So in other words, they need to be one-for-one backed. They need to have third-party audits. You need to be able to redeem them, and you can't just have a company like USDT self-reporting. That said, the companies that are not MICA compliant is the largest stablecoin in the world, USDT, which is currently the 4th largest crypto by market cap and is sitting at $140 billion. So yes, I expect this thing to grow potentially with the market, but over time, I expect it to lose its market dominance as other players like RLUSD start to take the world by storm. And it's not just those 2 stable coins, as PAX, PayPal USD, which is a large US-based company, GUSD, GYEN, and DAI are not compliant. So RLUSD will be, and this is tremendous considering these are some big players and big names. That said, USDC is a stablecoin issued by Circle, fully meets the requirements set by MICA, and I thoroughly expect RLUSD to do the same. So this is going to bring a lot of money and liquidity into the XRP ledger, and it's potentially going to really prop the price of XRP, when already today it was up about 15%. Currently, we experienced a little bit of a pullback, which we talked about, and yes, we will dive into that price action shortly. However, if you are sleeping on this development and you've been wondering whether or not XRP is actually going to benefit from issuance of their stablecoin, let's listen to Jack McDonald, the Senior Vice President of Stablecoins over at Ripple, how he explains their business model and why it's beneficial for the entire industry, blockchain, and transparency in a very non-transparent space. Let's listen to this.
Ripple has always built products specifically for enterprises and financial institutions. Now, we're bringing that deep expertise to launch a stablecoin, built for businesses, but accessible to everybody. For more than a decade, Ripple has been the industry leader in on-chain solutions for institutional finance. From the beginning, Ripple has always worked with global regulators, ensuring our solutions are compliant and adhere with local regulations wherever we decide to launch our products. We are well positioned to launch Ripple USD for several reasons. We're focused on the gold standard of compliance. RLUSD is issued in accordance with the New York State Department of Financial Services stablecoin guidance, which sets forth requirements designed to protect stablecoin holders. The requirements touch on the timely redemption of stablecoins, the safekeeping of stablecoin reserve assets, independent third-party attestations to verify the reserve. And Ripple USD is one of the few stablecoins that is fully regulated. Our regulators have stringent disclosure requirements, such as the publication of monthly attestations by an independent certified public accountant to verify the reserves backing the stablecoin. Monthly third-party attestations of the reserve ensure transparent reporting and reserve management. There will be clear redemption rights and other regulatory standards that are designed to protect holders. For over 10 years, Ripple has always chosen to work with and partner with regulators, policymakers, and financial institutions. Our partnerships with major banks and payment institutions bridge the gap between traditional finance and crypto solutions. These established relationships will bring the next wave of users and assets on-chain with Ripple USD.
Now, that said, before we dive into the price action on XRP and what recently happened, where I think it's going, if you haven't already, head on over to bullrunners.com. We recently hit our 1,000 member mark. We're currently sitting at 1,042 members. And on January 1st, we will be raising the price from $97 a month up to $197 a month. So if you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to go to bullrunners.com. If you do get started before January 1st, you are locked in or grandfathered in at the current rate. So there is a tremendous benefit in at least checking it out, because we believe this is the #1 platform to help you become a crypto millionaire in 2025. No, obviously we cannot guarantee you're going to be a millionaire. You have to actually put in the work, but we share with you everything we know and how to take full advantage of the bull market, from a comprehensive library of video trainings and courses to live calls with our experts that teach you everything you need to know on how they think and approach markets, and also how to do technical analysis like a pro, how to pick altcoins at 5x, 10x, 50x, and sometimes even 100x, how to get the best DeFi yields for your crypto so you can put it to work for you, and the list goes on and on. We have one of the best communities in the entire space that also get a lot of value from each other and share all sorts of alpha. So before time runs out, be sure to go to bullrunners.com. Link is in the bio or description below. I'll see you on the other side. Let's get back into the video and do some technical analysis. So let's dive into the chart here. I am on a 4-hour time frame, and it is quite helpful when it gives you a bit more history or more candles to lean into. That said, we had our local high at about 290. We had our local low at about $1.89. And as you can see here from the local high, volume has consistently been declining up until right around here on December 16th, where volume really pumped pretty hard. And I would assume that was on news of the stablecoin. When you pull up a Bollinger Band, you can even see how the Bollinger Band was really tightening in this range. And whenever you get a squeeze in terms of the price action, or there's really not that much movement in either direction, you start to get an expansion in volume, typically in the direction of the trend. So if the long-term trend is up and you start to get a squeeze like this, you can easily expect an expansion that looks something like this back here. So look at the difference right here between the price action here and the price action here as price continues to hug the upper band or range on a typical Bollinger Band. These are basic settings. So if you pull up BB or Bollinger Band, this is exactly what it'll look like. And I like to call this a magnet. In other words, when the price starts to break into this territory and range and you get this expansion, most people would think, oh my gosh, look, it's overbought, right? However, even the RSI can say it's overbought right around here. Over time, you want to bet in the direction of the trend and expect it to continue to hug the upper portion of the range. Well, in similar fashion, we had this really tight squeeze, and so now we might potentially have an expansion in the direction of the trend. Recently, I was mentioning, however, it might not be the best time to get into something like XRP. Long term, I think 250 is still very cheap. So yes, if you don't want to think about it, if you don't want a better entry in terms of your timing or your position, 250 is a good price. However, it is possible that we continue to get a little bit more of a breakdown before we trend back up. Do I believe we're going back to $1.90? I'm not too sure now. We'll look at the daily time frame here shortly, but from a 4-hour time frame, as you can see, if I take this line and drag it through this range right here, I have what you would call an inverse head and shoulders. In other words, here's our first shoulder, here's our head, and here's our next shoulder before breaking out on some volume down here. And so it is possible that we break right back down here. But what I'm not really liking is the fact that I said recently in a previous video that I would like to see a break above that $2.63 range, or even arguably $2.60 range. And so far, this is not what I would consider a clean breakout. If anything, this was a buy the rumor, sell the news type of a breakout, where we did have a break above the $2.60 to 63-cent range. However, what we had right here is what I would consider a textbook bull trap. People are really bullish into this move right here, only to see the price break right back down below those range highs. So that said, I would like for the price, whether it pulls back further or starts to break to the upside, to break back above this range and actually hold it from a daily time frame. Now, from a daily time frame, we'll go ahead and remove some of these drawings. You can see that not only do we have a long wick on the upside, but volume has actually consistently declined from the major range highs. So although we've had a little expansion of volume right here. Volume generally is declining on a daily time frame. This pattern does look really bullish, and although I would like for it to be a strong buy for me, I'm still not thoroughly convinced yet. One thing I will say though is if the price breaks right back down to that $2.26 range, in other words, we start to make a low touchdown down here at the 20 EMA, which is this orange line, then I will look to accumulate a bit more XRP, as our next major range of support is almost perfectly in alignment with that 20 EMA, and you can see the price broke down here and only wicked up really strong. So I do believe there's a load of buyers down at this $2.30 range to $2.26. With this bull trap, however, I think price could actually continue breaking down just slightly more and needs more time to cool off before painting a new all-time high. That said, I also think we're going to get a new all-time high. The question is not if, but when. And sometimes it's better to time your entries, especially with volume like this. Now, the only other bullish thing that I'm seeing on the chart is the fact that from a daily time frame, we are having a crossover of the fast-moving average over the slow-moving average on the stochastic RSI. So yes, right around here, and I'll put a line there, you can see, and I'll go ahead and pull the chart back up, we are starting to get a crossover, but that doesn't mean that it needs more time to cool off before putting in some new highs. Also, putting in that VRVP, it is very much possible that this was the actual local low at 240, but still, I've seen some things happen before in terms of volatility, and so I am not thoroughly convinced unless we break out above here on a daily time frame and hold above the $2.60 range, or even a 6 to 4 hour time frame with some volume to match and confirm. So yes, the volume looks strong here, but relative to where it was previously, it's looking relatively weak. So potentially we get one last pullback down to 240. As you can see, the VRVP is this huge cliff right here, or even lower down to 230. Whatever the case may be, I will be watching those prices closely and then seeing how the market responds or reacts by either buying or whether we see the market sell off a little bit further. So one last time, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to go to bullrunners.com and just learn what Altcoin Pro University can do for you. Here's a 26-minute video that explains exactly what you get on the other side, and we have boatloads of members winning, and the price will go up to $197 a month on January 1st. So if you want to lock that rate in and be grandfathered in and at least check it out, then watch this 26-minute video, click on the link below called bullrunners.com, and yes, you are going to get access to everything on this list before we raise the price. So thanks so much for watching the video, my friend. I hope you learned something new. I hope you got value. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.